He's not been out of his bedroom.
You're good to go live.
Okay. More than 5 minutes for several days.
I'd like to call to order the Monday, August 16th meeting of the City of Monona City Council. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Alder Thomas?
Here.
Alder Goforth?
Here.
Alder Groupie?
Here.
Alder Moore? Here. Alder Wood?
Here.
Alder Coor?
Here.
Mayor O'Connor?
Here. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the August 2nd meeting?
Move approval. Second.
Are there any corrections or additions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Under the appearances section, we have Chief Brian Cheney Austin would like to introduce our 2 new police officer recruits.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. I have the high privilege of being here to introduce your 2 new officers for the City of Monona. Officer Julie Ribeiro, just a little bit about her background if you're not familiar. Julie, I'm going to share a little bit about your background. She has work experience with the United States Transportation Security Administration and as a soldier in the United States Army Reserves. She works as an instructor, very proficient at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and she's also proficient in the Brazilian Portuguese language. So is it obrigada? Is that how you say it? Okay. A for me for that one. And in a second here, I'll ask Julie to say a few words. Emma Gonzalez. Emma has work experience as a manager and a personal trainer, as well for an area of fitness franchise. She served as a volunteer firefighter for years at the City of Stoughton Fire Department. So thank you for your service there. Any foreign languages, Emma?
Some Spanish.
Yes, hablo un poco de español. Okay, muy bien. So I just would offer both Emma and Julie a brief time, if I may, to say a few words.
Sure.
Thank you. Julie?
I just want to start off by saying thank you for your time tonight and allowing us to be here. I know there's some important things to discuss, which also involves which involves our position with Monona Police Department. And I just want to say that I'm very grateful to be a part of the city and a part of this police department as a whole. And just a huge thank you for everybody for being here.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having us tonight. I would just like to say a big thank you to the city for opening your arms in this new process. I know it's new for the city, it's new for us, it's new for the chief, and everyone has been super helpful, super encouraging, and very excited for us to take on this journey with you guys and continue keeping the city of Monona great and safe. So thank you guys.
Well, we welcome both of you. And is today the first day of class?
Yes.
Today's our first day, Mayor.
All right.
And they graduate December 17th. Did I get that right?
Yep.
Okay, so we'll be following them along the way, and I hope to chronicle their journey on social media in the coming weeks and months.
Oh, good idea. Good idea. Well, best of luck to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I don't think we have any other appearances. There's no public hearing. There's no consent agenda. Under unfinished business, item 1A, consideration of resolution 21-8-2405, award of contract for sanitary sewer main lining project put forth by the Public Works Committee. Is there a motion to approve this?
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Dan, you're going to talk about this?
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening. The August 4th Public Works Committee did approve this project awarded to Visu Sewer in the amount of $135,132.90. They are due to complete the project by November 12th of this year. There are no no additions from the first appearance or the first reading on this topic, and I'm seeking your approval for this bit of work tonight.
Does anyone have any questions about this? None, hearing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Alder Goforth.
Aye.
Alder Groupie.
Aye.
Alder Moore.
Aye.
Alder Wood.
Aye.
Alder Coor.
Aye.
Alder Goforth. I'm sorry, Alder Thomas.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
On to the next item, 1B, consideration of ordinance 8-21-742, amending Chapter 395-2 of the Code of Ordinances to require an affidavit for right-of-way work, also put forth by the Public Works Committee. Is there a motion to approve this?
So moved.
I'll second.
Dan?
Thank you, Mayor. This also was presented at the August 4th Public Works Committee meeting. It did receive the recommendation for approval to City Council. This is the second reading tonight. There is one update from the first reading at Council, following up on Alder Thomas's question. Does the contractor have to submit a new affidavit for each project? And the answer to that is yes, per Attorney Cole. Each new project that requires a right-of-way permit, they will have to fill out a new affidavit for each project. So that is the only update for this agenda item. Seeking your approval tonight for this.
Any other questions? No, hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you. Yep, thank you.
Moving on to new business, item 2A, consideration of temporary Class B fermented malt beverage retailer's license for Knights of Columbus Council 4879, President Paul Shepard, 1611 North Bristol Street, Sun Prairie, Wisconsin, 53711, for the period of September 4th, 2021, put forth by the License Review Committee. This is starred for immediate approval. Is there a motion?
I'll move to suspend the rules, take this out of order.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Is there a motion to approve this?
I'll move approval.
Second.
Doug, do you want to
Yeah,
talk about this one?
Sure. So this is for the Rockin Brews Marathon, which I think has had other names. They've been here, I think, 5 years. They have a new sponsor this year, the Knights of Columbus from Sun Prairie. And that's the only reason that we had them come in at license review, and well, it would still be on a council agenda. I think it would probably be a consent agenda. So that's really the only reason they have a plan that includes fencing the area where there would be beer consumed. And it sounds like, even though there's about 1,500 runners anticipated, that as they'll obviously by the time they get done with whichever race they're running, they'll kind of be spread out, so there won't be a huge concentration at once. And I believe they're just getting samples from various brew pubs. So.
Any questions? None from the virtual world? Alder Coor.
This is a side question, but have they come to Parks yet for the approval of their participation, or do they have to get a permit?
They indicated they had rented the park.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, I believe they've already done that, and we told them they need to make sure to work with the police department on any traffic controls. You may recall, I think last year they put out no parking signs. It was sort of just on their own. So they weren't going to do that again, but they said they were going to put out cones. And they said, well, you really need to make sure you get the PD to sign off on whatever you're going to do first. So I think they got that message.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. Item 2B, consideration of ordinance 8-21-743, amending section 18-10 of the Code of Ordinances regarding the Community Media Committee, put forth by myself and Alder Thomas. Let me just get down to that part here. This is something that actually Will and I think Alder Kaur, even back when she was chairing the committee, had discussed. The Community Media Committee currently consists of 9 members, including 1 appointee of the school board and 8 citizen members, and it started out only having 7 members, as is typical of most of our committees, but back when I was chairing it. And then we decided to increase it by 2 members because we thought we were going to have a radio subcommittee, was our original plan, and we never ended up having the radio subcommittee. We decided eventually that we really didn't need that, so Will and I have talked about this, and Alder Thomas also, and it will be easier in terms of getting quorums and that kind of thing to go back to the 6 citizen members and the school district member. What else was I was going to say something else, and now totally slipped my mind. So anyway, that's what this is about. Any questions, Doug?
Are there vacancies now?
Actually, there are. That's what I was going to say. There have been 2 vacancies for the past year and a half because I always planned on bringing this up and we never got to it. So we haven't filled those positions for over a year. Any other questions? Alder Group B.
Presumably this has been discussed with the committee as well, and everyone who's currently holding a position on the committee is in agreement that this is an appropriate step.
Well, typically we don't discuss this kind of thing with the committee. In the past, anyway, we haven't. So.
Okay.
Anyone else? Okay, well, that will come back next time for a final vote. So. All right. Find out where I am here. Item 2C, consideration of Resolution 21-8-2506, consent to assignment of renewable energy credit service agreement, put forth by the city administrator, and we also have Attorney Cole here to discuss this since he's been very involved in writing the original agreement. This relates to our solar panels and involved in this as well. So Brian, do you want to discuss it or do you want to let Bill?
Yeah, I'll take the first crack and then Bill can step in with anything I miss. So just to give you a little bit of background and history, we in 2013 contracted with the firm Falcon Energy Systems, originally out of Colorado. They also, I think, have a presence in Montana, small, I think 1, maybe 2-person shop, to get this system put on 4 of our facilities. So library, city hall, Public Works Maintenance Facility, and the pump house number 3 are the 4 facilities. So we've had the system in place for a number of years now. Right at about the end of 2019, beginning of 2020, Falcon Energy reached out to us to say that they really were looking to either have us directly purchase the systems from them, or if we were not really interested in doing that, they would like to have it assigned to a third party, mainly for a financial reason. The tax credits that Falcon Energy was able to get, I think there's a federal tax program, those tax credits expired in 2019, so from a financial standpoint, Falcon Energy wasn't really interested in kind of continuing to maintain our existing contract, which I think at the time that we signed it, it was 25 years in 2013. And so they were looking for another third party that was would be interested in taking over the contract for them. Right about after that, beginning of 2020, right around the time that COVID hit, we received communications from Legacy Solar Co-op, which is a Madison area cooperative that expressed interest in taking over that contract from Falcon Energy. There is a relationship between Falcon Energy and Legacy Solar. Kurt Reinhold, who is one of the main members of Legacy Solar, is a registered agent for Falcon Energy, and so has been involved with the city in previous years in terms of getting data on the maintenance of the system and all that stuff. Mainly, the way as I understand it, Legacy Solar is interested in taking over the assignment because they really want to become a larger player in the Madison area solar kind of game. They don't have I don't think they have any facilities that they currently manage, so they want to be more involved in that. So that's why they're interested in taking on the assignment from Falcon Energy. What we're asking the council to do at the next council meeting with this assignment is just that, basically making the legal entity, changing it from Falcon Energy to Legacy Solar. All of the other terms of the contract will remain as is. So the length of time for the contract would remain as it is presently, unless we would make a decision in the future to want to either purchase the system outright, abandon the system, or make some other kind of large-scale change. So that's not on the table for discussion presently. Kind of internally from a staff perspective, we think that that's kind of a decision point that we would need to make as a city probably in about the next 5 years. It's a fairly large capital-intensive decision, so it's not anything that we need to or have to rush. So it makes sense for us to continue to do this lease-based model till we can figure out long-term what we want to do with that system. I would say, however, we've talked about this in previous years, but I would continue to maintain it does not make financial sense for us to buy the existing system outright. It makes more sense for us to continue to do the lease option as of now. So I think those are the questions I've had about the agreement. Bill, if I missed anything, feel free to step in. And
the only thing I would add is, so when we're dealing with any assignment of a contract, as Brian mentioned, the terms of the contract stay the same. You're just dealing with a different contracted entity. So the main concern is this new person financially able to undertake all the obligations that the contract have? With Falcon was an LLC. It was just a corporate entity, but the principal personally guaranteed all those obligations. And at the time, we did our due diligence and had an understanding of his wealth level and ability to back those financial obligations to the guarantee. Legacy Solar is a cooperative in Wisconsin, and it's basically a bunch of people that each put in $100 to encourage the use of solar and that sort of thing. The concern I had was that while their intentions they're well intended, they don't have any financial backing. They don't have any financial assets. And I'm principally concerned about maintenance to the system, the ability to maintain it, and the ability to, when the city decides to terminate this agreement, the ability to remove all of the panels that are currently on there. Because if they just abandon them in place, our recourse is to sue them, and if they don't have any assets behind them, they're effectively judgment-proof. So a big part of what we did was negotiate with them adequate surety to make sure they have those assets. We estimate that it would cost about $38,000 to remove the existing panels once we terminate. They think they would have a residual value of about $13,000, salvage value. So the net cost of removal would be $25,000. That's why in the resolution in front of you, we have them posting a cash deposit of $12,500 and a surety bond in the amount of $12,500. So at the end of the day, if the city terminates the agreement and we order them to remove these panels, if they have one, it ensures that we have the assets with us to do that if they refuse to do it. That was the main one. The other one was just making sure that it's currently maintained and functioning. They've represented that. They just need to prove it to us. Other than that, I have no problem with recommending approval of this resolution.
And I would just add that Kurt Reinhold, I'm pretty sure, has been involved with this project from the beginning. I remember meeting with him when we were first discussing the solar panel installation, and I was the chair of the Sustainability Committee at that time. And I'm not sure if it's his firm who also takes care of maintaining them, I think. So he's very aware of the condition they're in and what they need to make sure they continue functioning. Any questions, anyone? Alder Moore.
Yeah, I just wanted to say a couple things. One is, while Legacy is definitely structured differently as a company, They do have a very good reputation in the solar arena. And those of us that are more intimately involved with renewable energy, and including Renew Wisconsin, I think would speak very highly overall in terms of the integrity of their work and commitments that they've made and the work that they've done in the state. The second thing is the Sustainability Committee just approved its last meeting that our project for the year and or for the foreseeable future, we haven't put an exact timeline on it yet, will be to develop a real roadmap to get us to the 100% clean energy that we voted on several years ago now, and we're just working through now what exactly that roadmap's going to look like. But I'm very confident that obviously the solar panels that we have and a whole host of data that we've been collecting on not only their efficiency and effectiveness, but on a lot of else of what we're doing on our city facilities will be very much obviously part of that roadmap. So.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you. This will be on the agenda at the next meeting as well.
Correct.
So we'll move on to reports of committees, commissions, boards, etc. Are there any updates or discussion on diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts? Alder Groupie.
I have a couple. We, as a transit committee, have conditionally approved a contract with First Student Busing Company with the amendment that we would like to encourage them to fulfill an obligation that we put in the original RFP for DEI training, specifically for their employees and service providers through their company. So we are working with that. The Black History for New Day course offered by Nehemiah, registration for the fall offering is now open, so I encourage just generally residents of the community to consider participating in that if they would like to. And I also, we've talked before as a council about the possibility of engaging in that training and in that, participating in that class as a council and city staff, which I hope that we will continue to discuss further and potentially register for that. And then in addition to the, just backtracking a little bit to the transit committee RFP, one of the things that we discussed as a committee at our last meeting was potentially providing opportunities for special event transportation for differently abled individuals in the community, if we can find a cost-effective way to do that in partnership either with First Student or another provider for things like the Senior Center summer concerts, other things of that nature. And I think that's it as far as DEI updates on my end. Thank you.
Does anyone else have anything?
Just to follow up on one of Alder Groupie's comments, for the history course that Nehemiah offers, yes, we are working to have the departmental leadership team participate in that course this fall. Don't exactly know when that cohort date would be for staff, but it would be for all the department heads and myself would be going through that course this fall. In terms of city council participation, I think you can absolutely participate on your own if you wanted to. If we want to do a separate council-specific cohort, that's a little bit more challenging because that would have to be noticed as a city council meeting for all the different sessions, and there are some challenges given that the course is a paid course. So I think absolutely the city council can participate. We can figure out a way to finance that, but in terms of doing it as a council unit, that's a little bit more challenging.
Anyone else?
Sorry, Nathan, I have one more thing to add, if that's all right. One of the things that we discussed, that I discussed recently with City Administrator Gatto and Mayor O'Connor, is the possibility of in the future exploring for RFPs that aren't bound by state laws. For example, if it's not a public works contract or other contract that is bound by lowest bidder constraints, the possibility of potentially developing, potentially on a case-by-case basis, qualification-based matrices for RFPs and contracts with outside business providers, to ensure that we're taking into consideration things like Black-owned businesses, women-owned businesses, other things that sort of would incur points in the process versus just the cost of the contract. And I promise that's all I have for this section. Thank you.
Thank you. Alder Moore?
Yeah, I appreciate Administrator Gaddow's comments. My understanding is that there needs to be first of all, that the regular class that Nehemiah is offering is once again being offered on Monday night, which obviously makes it impossible for us to attend that class, and that if we wanted to try to find something that was not on Monday evenings, that we would have to come up with a mass with a certain number of people. I believe it's 12. So I guess I just toss that out there as one thing. The second thing is that Nehemiah is also offering a new series, if you will, or discussion group for called Wondering in White, and that's going to happen on a regular basis as well. And I would encourage people to go to the website, and I've signed up for that particular series because it happens to be on like the one night of the week that I don't have city meetings. So.
Anyone else? Speaking of the Wondering, or White and Wondering, whichever it is, that's actually been going for a while because I've sat in on a couple of those earlier, but it's been, I can't make the one this Thursday, and I couldn't make the last one either. But yeah, it was good. They broke up into smaller discussion groups, and it was a good experience. So.
Right. Well, as they were articulating it in a recent email blast, they're somehow reordering it a bit so that it's offered more frequently, is my understanding. So that's why.
That could be.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Okay, and Brian, I think the Diversity and Equity Committee meets this Thursday.
Yep, Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Yep, second meeting.
All right. I guess we'll move on to committee reports. Alder Thomas?
No report.
Alder Coor?
Library board meets tomorrow night. I did want to mention briefly, I was so pleased that the two new officers joined us this evening. I was riding with my daughter in the car last week, and we passed a squad, and she says, "Mom, look, there's a police car. Is that a policeman or a policewoman?" And she says, "Do we have policewomen?" And I said, "Well, absolutely we do, and we've just hired 2 more." And the look on her face just lit up. So I'm just thrilled that we've continued to hire female officers.
Great. Alder Wood?
No report.
Alder Groupie, or Alder Goforth, did.
Yeah, I just have a quick one from Landmarks. We were able to get a 1-year extension for our CLG grant to apply for the National Register. We had a late coming homeowner that wanted to apply, so that's exciting, and potentially one business as well that we're still working. So it gives us a little more hope for bolstering that list up a little bit.
Well, that's good.
That's it. Yeah.
Alder Moore?
Yeah, well, as I just reported a minute ago, the Sustainability Committee has been looking hard and deep in terms of what we want to focus on. Obviously, now that we're kind of starting budget season for the next year, among other things, and voted at the last meeting to focus on getting a real roadmap together, and that's in part been supported by the fact that we have a new committee member, Ken Walls, who's on our committee, who is, really nationally known in the field, and will be able to be very helpful to help us log through, what an actual roadmap will look like, and what kind of data we need to be collecting, and so we're looking forward to that, and I'll have more news of that in the future. I also want to echo Alder Kerr's comments. I think the terrific new hires. I'm sure Sarah is thrilled to have some other women in the department as well. And I look forward to meeting them. Atija.
All right. Alder Groupie.
Senior committee meets on August 25th, and we're going to try to do a self-guided tour of the Frank Alice house beforehand, just because some of the members of the committee have asked about seeing the space and are interested in learning more about the San Damiano property. As I mentioned before, the transit committee is working to improve their, the RFP with First Student Bus Company, pending a couple of recommendations from our committee to them to amend the RFP and the bid that they have submitted. And let's see, National Night Out is rescheduled for tomorrow, the 17th tomorrow? Tuesday the 17th. Wheelhouse is providing the Friends of the Monona Senior Center Summer Concert. And there will also be a sustainability committee table at the National Night Out happenings, so I encourage people to just stop by the table and learn more about what we do as a committee and our commitments to the city if you have time.
All right. City Clerk Andrews, do you have anything?
No report other than I'll be out of the office next week at the 40th WMCA conference, so I'm pretty excited about doing that.
Mr. Gatto.
No report, Madam Mayor.
I just had a couple of things. We have set the capital budget committee of the whole meeting for September 21st. I think, is that a Tuesday?
Yep.
Right? I guess the only other, and we may do some of, I've just started capital budget meetings with staff today, so we may do cover some of the budget by starting early on the council meeting the night before, so we'll keep you posted about that. And then I guess next time we meet, we don't meet for 3 weeks. We meet the Tuesday after Labor Day, and I will not be at that meeting, so Alder Thomas will be chairing the meeting as president of the council. And that's everything, I think. So, okay, we will move on to appointments. We've determined the San Damiano Steering Committee. So I think Andrew Kitzlar is here, the president of the Friends. Going to talk just a little bit about the people that the Friends have recommended, and then I'll talk about the city's recommendations, and then we'll be voting on those. Welcome back, Andrew.
Thank you. Thanks for having me this evening. I'll keep it real short, but I will just simply say I'm thrilled by the slate of candidates for the appointments, in particular the ones that the Friends have recommended. We have somebody from the Ho-Chunk, Caleb Beard. Obviously, we are on their land, so it's very vital and important to have their perspective throughout the whole process. In addition, she is a board member of MESBA, which I think is a good insight to have as well. We have Lorraine Gage, who is a local resident and also the president of the Monona Grove School District. I think in those two particular appointments, they are not Monona residents, but I do think that they provide a valuable input because we are looking to make this a regional destination. And so I think not only getting school districts in the Ho-Chunk perspective, but also getting that non-Monona resident, I think is an important thing to have. And then we have two individuals who serve on the Friends of San Damiano Board of Directors. We have Wes Mosman-Block, who is Deputy Director and Chief Operating Officer of the Wisconsin Historical Society, and he's just been integral to the whole process from the formulation of the Friends to going through this now, because he has an agency that straddles the state and also a number of Friends organizations across the state. He has a lot of experience in this area. And then finally, Alder Nancy Moore serves as ex officio. She's an alder, but she has decades of experience on conservation arena as well. So I think all four of those, in addition to the ones that Mary's putting forward, I think we are in a strong position to get our steering committee up and running and get a number of perspectives throughout our community and to reach out to community and get perspectives of everybody else too. So, certainly the final decision lays with this body, but I think with the diversity of that board or the steering committee, I think that's putting us in a strong position.
Thank you.
Yep.
And then I'll just tell you a little bit about the members who are representing the city of Monona. Mary Lee Gorman is a Monona resident who has been very involved with the Clean Lakes Alliance. She served on both their citizen board and their executive board, and while on their board, she was involved in the Reimagining Warner Beach master planning project, so she's got some experience along those lines as well. She's also been on several other community boards. Rebecca Holmquist is a member of the Landmarks Commission and a registered architect and has experience working with historical buildings. Kelly Slack is a member of the Park and Recreation Board and a local Monona businesswoman. And then we have Alder Doug Wood, who is president of the Park and Rec Board and was quite involved in our discussions with the Norbertines last summer when we were working on the purchase. So, and then of course Andrew and myself as co-chairs is set out in the MOU. So is there a motion to approve the appointments?
Move approval.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Night, everyone.
Good night.
Night.